Hi, fellow tea lovers. Settle in.
The word is about. There's something evolving.
I'm Nell.
And I'm Rose.
Whatever may come, the world keeps revolving.
We've got a story.
They say the next big thing is here, that the revolution's near. But to me it seems quite clear that it's all just a little bit of history repeated.
We're bringing you the tea.
Across era.
Yes, I've seen it before. Just little bits of history repeated.
Hey y'all.
Hey, happy Friday again. Not that it affects you in the slightest, but we're
Not even
recording on a
kind of.
Friday for the second time. Kind of enjoying it. Might be changing office hours. I don't know.
Yeah, I joined a gym and there's classes I like to go to on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
I pulled my back out while asleep, so I've done very little physically this week, but I'm proud of you.
Middle age is awesome.
It's not amazing. You can't even blame anything like, ooh, that was a dumb thing. Like, quit sleeping. Like,
The first time I recall getting an injury just from like doing a normal thing was I was brushing my teeth and then one of the dogs, or all of the dogs, I don't know, came in and were like running around my feet and I twisted. Yep, got a back injury.
yeah, did that scrubbing the bathtub. Because you know how our bathtub's
Yeah.
like a little tucked back. And so like
Yeah.
that back corner's kind of, you got to reach for it. And yep, just pop and done. And I thought that was irritating, but at least that was a thing.
That was a thing, that's right. Really, the only reason I joined the gym, it's not because I'm like cool and healthy. It's because I want to go gorilla trekking in Uganda for my 50th, which is closer than even I would imagine. And so I was like, I gotta like keep my body in good shape because as a woman, you get older and you like lose bone density or mass or things. I don't know.
You
And I don't
lose
want
it.
that. I want my joints to be, I want them to be nice and well oiled.
Yep, as my husband is always saying, motion is lotion. And I can't knock his methods. He's actually got medical proof now that he was right all this time about conditioning.
Oh, absolutely. But he is self-motivated. Like he thinks it's silly that I'm paying money to go to the gym for classes when he's like, but you could be doing this at home. And I'm all, ha ha, could have been, but I wasn't.
I am really lucky that like he'll just walk around like, oh, you're sort of kinked to the side a little bit. Try this stretch. And I'm just like, I'm really appreciative for having that. But then of course, like if it's first thing in the morning, morning Rose is like
Murder.
a little bit closer to honey badger than person. So
Yeah, that's fair. Stretches, great.
Oh yeah.
Anything else? No.
We're getting ready to go on a trip, and our goal was to go for a walk every single night between when we planned it and when we were going to go. And I'll refer back to the back pulling out. That has just completely gotten trashed. But
It's also
we're still
wildly
excited.
windy.
Yeah, the
Maybe
weather
that
hasn't
was
been
late
amazing.
last night. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
No, that it picked up.
And it was very hot today, provided my car was parked out back between like a concrete wall and a concrete wall. But when I got in it, I was all, dang, it is hot. Because it hasn't been like hot. And it was 102 degrees in my car.
Yeah, and at that point, I believe that everybody was out at the park juggling, which I don't understand. I was sitting here in the air conditioning like,
It doesn't feel that hot outside if you're not,
or if you're not going back and forth.
and you're
Yeah.
not directly in the sun, maybe.
What's weird to me is we got a few porch plants, and the one that is handling the heat the worst is the Spanish lavender,
Oh,
which you would think it would be a little bit more acclimatized to the warm, but I guess not.
okay. That's interesting.
The bougainvillea looks like it was just made for that spot.
Yeah, it does. I noticed that. Well, something else I noticed on the drive over here, it has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about today. I need to know if this happens in other places. So if you don't live in New Mexico, chime in. Is there a thing where people just like paint their license plates randomly?
What?
Okay. So a year or more ago, I was out to lunch at, what's that Dion's restaurant that's not Dion's? Tula's.
Okay.
At
I don't
Tula's.
think I've been there.
It's pretty good. They have a really good like tater tot plate. It's an appetizer and it comes with a bunch of their different ranch dressings and their ranch is like a 10 out of 10 in my opinion.
Okay, well, I mean, I would do a lot for a tater tot, so yeah.
I think it's like half tater tots, half fried green chili and cheese strips, so it's pretty good.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I would try
Anyways, we noticed this like all black vehicle, like black car, black tint, black rims, obviously black wheels, pull up, and his license plate was all black and the letters were white. And we were still standing there talking when the driver and the passenger got out, and we asked, we were like, whoa, cool plate, where's it from? Because we hadn't seen one.
Yeah.
And he laughed and he's like, it's from here. I found this website, and you basically mail your license plate to Florida and they paint it however you want it. And one of us was like, is that legal? Not saying.
I'm not going to call the cops. I'm actually just curious.
We're just wondering. And he's like, LOL, probably not. But since then, I've noticed so many. You know how we have the chili pepper license plate up yours, Colorado?
Yes, ma'am. I got one on my car.
Okay. Somebody, the other day, I was behind them, and they'd done a really nice job of it. But I realized they'd painted over the chili peppers and put in a Zia.
That is
like
so
a half Zia.
weird.
Maybe like 3/4 of a Zia.
Interesting.
I've started noticing it more and more. And earlier, I was behind a guy who just had like a matte black plate with it wasn't this, but it was MVD painted in the white in the middle of it. And it didn't look like a hand-done job.
Weird, but I don't really think the crispness is the issue, though. I do actually feel like that's illegal.
I'm sure it is.
For sure, though.
One thing we definitely have out here is expired registration tags.
Mhm.
And if you're not from the US, because I remember complaining one time that I had not renewed my registration because I'm always like, I'm going to stick it to the man.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, the man sticks it right back.
Oh,
then
yeah,
when
with
you
an
do
impound
renew
fee.
it costs way more, and you're lying on an affidavit being like, I've never driven it since then. No, that's not it in the parking lot currently. We have little tags, and every year or two, or depending on where you are, you have to pay the government some money depending on what license plate you have. And I have a personalized license plate, so I pay a little more, even though nobody understands what it says. And if we just had a freaking option to get the Auburn University plate all the way out here in New Mexico, which isn't as crazy as it sounds, because you can get them in Georgia and Florida and all other places, but whatever, then I wouldn't have a personalized plate. But anywho, so let's say, I don't know what my fee is. Let's say it's like $84 for 2 years. So I don't send off my money. I go online and type in my bank information. And then I get a piece of paper in the mail that says my VIN number and stuff, and the type of car I have, and has a sticker. And I put that sticker on my plate, and it's 2 years out because I paid for the 2-year option. And then I'm supposed to re-register it before it expires.
Right. Basically, for a large and nice enough expense in this country, you occasionally have to pay the government to tell them that you still own it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
When I was complaining about this back in the 2010s, when people used Facebook, a friend of mine who lived in London was like, what in the world are you talking about?
What now?
And his best comparison he could give me was the daily driving VAT, which is a value added tax. And it was something like, if you're rich enough to own a car that you're driving through the streets of London, you're going to pay a daily tax on it.
Really?
So
Okay.
I assume there's scanners everywhere, with toll booths here. I have no idea.
Huh.
What I'm saying is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people out here don't have registered tags, don't have tags, period. And the cops don't care, man.
You know what sucks is I got pulled over once for having a license plate that was too faded. And
You can't, was it the balloon plate?
No.
Oh.
No, and it wasn't even faded. What it was I believe what it was I was a little tired driving home and had started to turn on the wrong street and corrected a little bit funny. And I realized it wasn't my turn. And so I think he thought he was getting a DUI, and then he pulls me over and it wasn't. And so he was, well, your license plate is too faded to read. I'm giving you a ticket. Which was horrible. And I did get out of the ticket because I took it to court and was just like, my license plate is fine. And they agreed. But it was also the scene of one of the nicest stranger interactions I've ever had, because I pulled over in a Whataburger parking lot. Quick PSA, no matter what anybody tells you, if you are being pulled over, you do have to stop. You do not have to stop somewhere you don't feel safe. Businesses are awesome.
Yeah, turn on your flashers, hazards, whatever you call them.
Absolutely.
Slow down so that they know you're pulling over.
and go somewhere.
I will say that this works well if you're white. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're not white.
Yes.
Don't take my advice if you're
There are
not,
caveats for all of it.
unfortunately.
But so I pull into a Whataburger parking lot, have this horrible interaction, and then the cop drives off, and I'm just sort of standing there leaning on the trunk like, oh, could be anything else. Was not an amazing time in our lives. And this guy comes outside. He had just stopped his dinner in the middle and walks outside and asked if I was okay.
Aw.
And I kind of just started crying, like,
Of
there's
course.
just a lot going on. And he says my license plate is too faded, and I don't really know what I mean. And he said, take a picture of that, honey. That's not okay. And hugged me.
Aw.
And went back inside to his dinner, and I'll never have a way to thank that person. And I feel like I've even probably told this story on here before because I feel so strongly about
That's
it.
so nice.
But it was just it saved my psyche that night.
Pre-2020, there were still a lot of vehicles without tags and with expired registration. But after COVID, I don't know what our cops do because I haven't needed to call them, knock on wood, in a long time. But I'm under the impression they just like come out at night for DWIs.
I mean,
I don't know.
I will say when we called 911 for the choking incident, that
wasn't the cops,
that
though.
was not the cops, but just the general emergency response time I was pretty impressed with.
Yeah, they were impressive.
Okay, and it is a DUI, but we did see someone get pulled over in our neighborhood recently that I could not believe the turnaround between get out of the vehicle and them having a tow truck there. Like that was
Wow.
a little bit eerily fast.
We did see the cops that time. Remember when they surrounded your neighbor's house?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And there was like big guns. Her husband wasn't home. So like geniuses, we watched out the window.
And the only reason that's relevant is because he would have yelled at us for that.
Obviously.
Because we have foot thick walls.
Yeah, you have an Adobe
safe behind,
house.
but we stood in front of the glass door.
How else are we supposed to see what's happening?
Exactly.
Right? So anyways, I was just wondering about other places and their license plates. And I'm also really tempted now to send my license plate off to a place that's not in Florida because I don't like Florida.
You know.
And have them, I have the turquoise plate
Mm-hmm.
and is the lettering on it white or yellow? I don't remember.
I feel like it's yellow.
Okay. So I have the turquoise plate and I won't tell you what it says because that's way obvious.
It's very doxing.
Yeah. But I'm like, they can paint the background blue and the letters can be orange.
Yeah.
How do I get a new sticker to put on it? Because now that I'm thinking about it, all of these nice ones I've seen,
No registration
I don't
sticker?
think they have a sticker. I mean, you can put it in your glove box, but you'll still get pulled
you will
over.
get pulled over. You'll just
Eventually,
leave
maybe.
quicker-ish.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's hard to say.
Oh, also, weird side note from that incident with the neighbors, just because I found it disturbing and not something I'd seen before, at least the cops here will put you in the back of a completely unmarked, not government affiliated looking Nissan Versa when they're arresting
That
you.
was insanity.
And I did not know that was a thing. I thought that they all at least had to have the government plate. That is not the case.
I don't remember exactly when it was, but there's been like a little bit of like federal law enforcement, a lot of federal law
crossover.
enforcement coming in
Yeah.
and driving completely and totally unmarked vehicles.
Right. I've just seen this debate a lot online where, people are saying that's not a government vehicle, so that's not a legal vehicle, like law
If
enforcement
somebody
vehicle.
tried to
It's
put
just not
me
true.
in the back of that hatchback that they popped open and got their like AKs out of, I would assume I was being kidnapped.
Right. Exactly.
And I would refuse to go because they say don't let yourself get taken to a second location.
Right. You would automatically be less compliant because it's 100% scarier.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
Yeah, it was weird. Okay, and I have one more thing because it's lovely and sweet and makes me happy. Have you heard of this person online? I think he's on Twitter only or whatever it's called now. I don't have any social media that I really use, so I'm late to every party. Hey, he goes by Freddie LA7.
You were just showing me that. This is so
Okay.
cute.
Y'all, the USA is obsessed with this guy. He's from Germany, and he is in the US of A for this like soccer thing that is happening.
that little game that's going on. World Cup.
And he's documenting like what is apparently his 6-week road trip. And I know he's like Atlanta and he's going to Houston, but he went to a friendly, which is an actual legal name, I guess, of a game of soccer
Oh,
between,
I know nothing about
me neither, between Iceland and the country where that Messi guy is, Argentina. I used to like him, but then I saw him hanging out with the president. But then I did realize, like, what if I was visiting China and their president was like, I need you to come visit me? I'm not going to protest, fam.
Yeah.
I'd be all, oh!
I'm a guest here. I'm probably going to shake that weird dude's hand.
Anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know about soccer. But anyways,
Oh, I do know football. It
Are you
should
talking
be
about-
No, it should be football.
I haven't even got there yet. Calm down.
I just don't want to be labeled a cretin. Everyone know? I know that.
Football involves not kicking a ball very often, except in a field goal situation. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, football is almost non-foot involved besides the running.
But yeah, so he's here for Germany during this like soccer tournament of champions thing.
Mhm.
Just kidding. It's called the World Cup and it's football. And it's happening in the USA. And I think everyone except the Americans are aware of it because I was looking up something for work, and weirdly enough, a great resource in my job is a page on Reddit.
Mhm.
And
It really is.
It really-
Crowdsourcing information.
it's wild, right? So something else came up when I was scrolling through, and this lady was talking about some dude from another country, and she was like, man, he really thought he was like getting one on us Americans because he's like, oh, you guys have no chance of like winning anything with this World Cup and da-da-da. And all the comments turned out to be Americans being like, wait, we're hosting what? Wait, America has a team that plays?
Because the only publicity we get 90% of the time is how somebody's gotten screwed over while attempting to come here to participate.
Which I have heard about, like even
Yeah.
referees and stuff.
Like
have been-
well-respected players.
Look, I'm just going to say it. We're all thinking it. I'm just going to say it. This is what happens when the FIFA's in charge
Mhm.
charge, make up a peace award and give it to our president.
Mhm. No, he's been handed way too much ego stroking.
That would be like
To
if
handle.
I made an award for the Nobelish Prize and gave it to someone. Like, I have no say-so in this.
Okay.
Shut up and sit down. Anyways, in case you aren't aware, I'm not really into soccer. I find it, the best part to me is the really dramatic, like, flops on the ground.
Mhm.
I'm like, the person you're pretending hit you is approximately 60 kilometers away from you.
Yeah, it's cheetah bumper cars.
It's
In that way,
hilarious.
It's very entertaining.
The worst part to me is that it can end in a tie.
Mm.
Apparently not during the Tournament of Champions. But that's the worst. I have been to some of our local games. We have a team called New Mexico United.
Mm.
But I just go for like the fun of socializing.
Yeah, it's one of the few spaces where you can kind of interact with like larger swaths of people without
Yeah.
having a really specific interest. Like I think that's true of going to the Isotopes Park as well. Like you don't actually
Absolutely.
need to be that into baseball to enjoy.
Oh yeah, I could care less,
Having
to be
fun
honest,
there.
about baseball.
Yeah.
I would like to go to like one of those teams like the Savannah Bananas and watch, but every time I realize they're here, it's completely sold out.
I actually really like just going to the park that's near Isotopes and watching the fireworks at the end.
I like going to Isotopes, but the last time I went for Little League night because my friend's kid plays Little League and he wanted me to go. And I decided to buy all the kids cotton candy, but then it was $12 a bundle.
Oh.
So I bought two and said, share.
I'm buying everybody a quarter inch of cotton candy.
But the reason I'm bringing all this up, Freddie LA7 loves America. So he's been to like a Waffle House at 1 a.m. He was driving somewhere and listening to the radio, and they were talking about him and how he's become a fan of this country singer from Alabama, Ella Langley, which we should all be fans of her.
And then they played her for him.
And then they played her for him. So she's from Hope Hole, Alabama, but I do have it on good, what's the phrase?
authority.
I do have it on good authority that she might be a fellow Slapoutian now. I don't know. Solidarity. Yo, girl Nell's from Slap Out, Alabama.
That is exactly the kind of thing that I want to highlight. As much as talking about serious topics a lot lately, like here in our private lives, everywhere, everything is serious. Sometimes the goofy joy pops out at you, and I think it's very important to grab those moments right now. So
100%.
I am here for it. I don't remember her name, and I will figure it out, but Barbecue Tongue Girl, I can't.
Hang on, I
it's-
think it's in my messages from you.
just randomly popped up yesterday, and she's just running around. running around with a pair of barbecue tongs, snapping them, going, "You're going to forgive yourself right now for everything you think you aren't doing in your life. You're awesome and amazing." And it was just like the energy that I needed. And I guess she's been a content creator for a while. And same, I come late to the party.
Yeah, her handle is AKPRZY.
I recommend it. It'll make you smile.
It did. So Freddie, Mr. Freddie, he went to watch Iceland and Argentina play, and they happened to be playing in my personal stadium of Jordan-Hare, which is the stadium in Auburn, Alabama. Every year I go there to watch actual football games, not soccer. I know, and I'm just teasing. I know it's football. I know. So he's at the game, and number one, he really loved our stadium. He was shooketh by the size, which I was like, really though? Because it's only the 11th largest on-campus stadium in the USA.
I thought you meant on that campus for a second. I was like, man, Auburn takes their football seriously.
Oh, we do. I'm about to get into it. It's the 13th largest in the USA and the 21st largest in the world.
Wow.
So it's not even that big. Just kidding.
I think if you're in the top 50 and when we're talking about world statistics, you're doing all right.
It has a capacity of 88,403. Okay, side note. As an Auburn fan, you constantly live in a state of like, this year is going to be our year.
Mm-hmm.
Fam, it hasn't been our year for a while. But it's okay. You don't give up. But what we do have are wildly good times. No sense of rhythm whatsoever, which I'll explain in a moment. An eagle that flies around the stadium before each game, including before this football game, which I loved it. All the non-Americans or non-college football people, because we have a lot of NFL people.
Yeah.
NFL is the National Football League. That's like the pros.
Mm-hmm.
College is a very big deal also. But what we're really good at, maybe not so good at winning games, but we are so good at spending money on football related things. No, like we're so good. Even though we're kind of like a basketball / baseball / maybe golf school now. This year is definitely the year, though. We have another new coach. Oh, we're also really good at hiring new coaches for incredibly high amounts of money. And
then writing contracts to where they even get that money if they get fired?
Yeah.
I've heard
So
of that.
after like 3 years of them not performing, we're like, get out. But they get to keep all their money.
Still get paid?
We still pay them.
I'm in the wrong.
We're so good at that. Yellowwood, I'm coming for you. If you know, you know. Another thing we're really good at is our end zone video boards. One of them, the bigger one, is so when they get this big, you don't measure them like in a diagonal, like how you would your normal TV, like 95 inches, and that's a diagonal.
That's used to anyway.
Yeah. So one of them is 10,830 square feet, aka 57 feet by 190 feet. Or if you're not American, that translates to 17.37 meters by 57.9 meters. And then we have a newer one at the other end zone, and that one is smaller. Mm-hmm. It's 47 square feet by 154, so only 7,238 square feet.
Oh, that's the little one.
That's the baby one, aka 14.3 meters by 46.9 meters.
I remember you showing me pictures of that, and it's insane, the scale, especially like next to the university housing and stuff that's around it. It's wild looking.
So another thing I will say about Auburn is it is incredibly expensive. And Auburn is like out here we have UNM and NMSU as like the two main schools. And NMSU is kind of like the agriculture school.
Uh-huh.
Auburn is as well.
Oh, okay. I always thought of them as the private school for some reason.
It just costs an absolute fortune. It costs more for me to go to Auburn for a year in the way olden days. I've been out for a long time. Than it does to go to 1 year of UNM right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm never going to get rid of my student loans. And then, like I mentioned, we don't have rhythm, which is crazy because, well, Auburn also is not a very diverse school. If you attend Auburn, you might be like, we're super diverse. They're not. So, and it's not just an Auburn thing, but a lot of colleges will play the song Swag Surfin' by Fast Life Youngsta during a game. And when that song comes on, you put your arms around the people next to you and you like sway back and forth and you yell, swag surfing. I saw a meme not that long ago. showing Auburn fans doing that.
Mhm.
And then somebody pops up and was like, dang, them white people don't have rhythm.
No.
And they were 100% correct.
I'm like, well, I can't fault you for your observation.
So Freddie also got Southern hospitality.
Mm.
So it rained right before the game. And they were like, we should just walk to the stadium anyways to save money on the Uber costs because surge pricing, you know?
Yeah, fair.
And the person at the hotel, the clerk, was like, absolutely not, and drove them.
Oh, that is the sweetest.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
And then they went to Buc-ee's afterwards at like 1 a.m. for brisket Sammy's. And his post on X was like, this is a gas station, LOL.
I remember the first time I saw one of those big roadside stadium things, and it was just like, are you kidding? It's not just like a porta potty in a field.
Buc-ee's has clean bathrooms, which is what makes them a 10 out of 10. They also have like those like candied pecans and almonds and stuff. Love them. They have brisket.
Huge fan.
Buc-ee's Nugs, which are kind of like corn pops, but more sugary.
You've had me try those. They're actually pretty good.
They're pretty good, yeah. Some people, though, are big fans of Love gas stations. The only Loves I know of is the one over here off the freeway, and
that's
it's
not
that
tourist
impressive.
destination. No, you don't go there unless you need to.
It's nicer than it used to be.
Really?
They recently had a remodel. I had to stop there the other day.
I don't think I've stopped there in I don't know how long.
Yeah. He's also been impressed by Walmart, as always, as everyone should be.
Do you remember that scene in My Name is Earl when Catalina first gets to the U.S. and she walks into a Walmart and goes, oh my God, your churches are beautiful.
I like seeing people be like, do you guys really have like a whole aisle of cereal? And I'm like, the aisle's longer than my house.
Yes.
And yes. What do you mean? You only have 3 types? What if you don't want those 3?
Sweet baby.
No. He likes Bass Pro Shops, obviously. Yeah. So I just thought it was really nice. His adoration of the USA has been adorable.
We're known for good things.
We are.
I swear.
I was thinking it's like, you know, if you've never been to another place, I love using China as my example. In 2019, I saw a Groupon and I was like, I'm going to give it a whirl. And I went to China with my kid on a Groupon and it was amazing. But like before that, here's what I knew about China. Tiananmen Square, communism, one-child policy, and a lot of other things that aren't great.
Yeah, no, it mostly got the bad version.
Right. So I presume
But it's an entire country.
if you've never been to the US of A, and you don't really know anyone from here, you only hear what's in the news, and boy, that's bad.
At the moment, that's
terrible.
That's not the marketing campaign that
Right?
one would hope for.
I got to China, and there are some wildly different cultural things, but it was great. I had a great time. I loved it.
I remember being so relieved every time I ran into somebody that spoke English at all, you know, because it is terrifying to walk around and not really understand all of what's going on around you.
It is.
But culture shock, like, I mean, I think it's necessary for growth. If you only listen to the news headlines about any country,
It's wrong.
it's wrong. It's a whole country, whole
most
people.
people aren't like
and
that.
It sucks being on the end of it that we are right now, but it's not like we don't.
It does
It's not
suck.
like we haven't walked down this path ourselves.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
it does suck. I'm like, what do you mean you don't like me? I am a lovely, freaking fabulous person. I'm like that. First of all, I'm a delight, raccoon or
Yes,
badger
first
or
of all,
whatever.
I am a delight.
Yeah, that's me. And I'm like, how dare you not automatically want to meet me and think I'm great?
It's difficult to accept the moral culpability that we do need to as citizens of this country, because I am not going to sit here in 50 years and say I did nothing.
No.
But at the same time, there's a whole lot of very realistic feeling of, I didn't do it.
Thank you. Because I was going to say, I didn't vote for what's going on now.
No.
But
But
we, as a whole, which we're
we
going
are
to get into
collectively
this,
responsible.
we deserve it.
We
We
are
bully
just
and
on
run
this
over
ride.
other people all the time. It's so rude of us.
And
What
I
if
do
we
mean
all
us.
just like humanized? I'm going to talk about that. I know I've been hard on the US of A lately. I think it's a little deserved. But I'm like, if you don't care about something, you wouldn't be hard on it. You wouldn't be like, do better.
No, yeah, it's extra irritating because we love our country.
Yeah, I'm such a patriot, and I'm not being sarcastic.
And we were just talking about earlier that it is irritating as hell that patriotism seems to have been co-opted by a single side. and
think
is
we're
now a red
scaling it back.
conversational flag a lot of times. If somebody drives by my house with a bunch of American flags hanging off of their car, either it's July or I'm worried about that guy.
Which really sucks. I fly an American flag because one time I read that if you fly an American flag, you look more like you own guns.
Which is not untrue.
But lately I fly it upside down.
Yeah.
On like Memorial Day, Labor Day, Flag Day, 4th of July. Yeah, my neighbors probably hate me, but whatever. I don't care. So what I'm really going to talk about today is this historical friendship that went sideways.
I'm super excited about this because it's one of the funnier stories to me of American history, and I constantly try to quote it in arguments and forget the details. So you're my hero right now.
I honestly am not sure I really knew much about it. So this was inspired by a conversation that Rose and I had like a week or so ago, just about like when friendships, not ours, thank you very much, but when friendships come to a natural end. Like if someone you're friends with moves away and, you know, even when you have the best intentions and all this technology to be able to keep in touch and the drift happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this isn't a drift apart story. This is like betrayal and fighting and being mean and all kinds of fun things.
All the good things in life. No, I'm sorry. That's a quote
Yeah.
from Cutthroat Island.
There you go.
Blood, murder, chaos. All the good things in life.
Is that the movie with Gina Davis?
Yes, love
Yes,
it.
I knew that was your movie. Okay. So, in honor of this country's semi-quincentennial, which means it's our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence this coming July 4th, we're going to talk about Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. They were both patriots during the American Revolution. They both worked on the committee that drafted the Declaration of Independence, making them founding fathers.
They both have at least 3 schools named after them.
Oh,
More than that.
more than that. And they were both presidents of the US of A, Adams being number 2 and Jefferson being number 3. When they met at the 1775 Continental Congress, they both realized they had the same reading lists. You know, they're like over here comparing their Goodreads ratings.
Aw, they
Just
met
kidding.
because they were in the same book club. I love that.
They love books and reading and writing, and that is clearly BFF material.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But despite this, they did argue a bit over politics. It was like, say, one of them reads Rachel Maddow and the other one reads Rush Limbaugh. Just kidding.
But that's much more normal through most of our history as a country. It's
Yeah.
always kind of been a badge of honor to be able to say, I am strong in my principles, and I also appreciate that you're strong in your principles, and they don't have to match for that to be true.
Yeah. It's mostly true until your principles. I'm like, that's your principle? What are you, a character in The Boys?
Yeah, that doesn't give you license to just pick a principle and run. I'm just saying that you know,
You're all, this is my principle.
agree 100% to exist in the same space.
Yeah. So Jefferson was all about states' rights, and we talked about his party, the Democratic Republicans, 2 episodes ago.
In the Jerry of the Man.
Yeah, and that Jerry and what he's Mandarin. But that was the party he was in. He helped create it. Quick refresher, they liked agricultural economic policies. They were a bit more opposed to like big industry, and they really wanted to limit the federal government's power. I pretty much approve of that. And then Adams was a federalist, and Adams was like, you know, the federal government knows best. We need more industry in this economy, and other countries, we don't really like foreign affairs.
Oh man, it's the plebs versus daddy knows best.
Yep.
I'm not agreeing with either side at this point.
Right.
I'm not up with my 18th century politics.
So back then, the office of president in the U.S. worked differently because whoever came in second became the vice president.
Which I kind of wish we did.
I am actually very interested in that. However, I think we would just need to have set rules around what the vice president's job was.
Exactly, because at the moment let's face it, they're basically ornamental. They have like a single job.
The last time I remember a vice president who did stuff was under President Obama. The VP, Biden, did stuff.
You know, actually met with people.
But when
and
Biden was the president, VP Harris, maybe she
absent.
did stuff.
It felt like they were keeping her in the wings so that no kind of scandal could stick, just in case.
So that she could
happened.
run again? I don't know.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the whole, we're not going to get into that.
No.
The VP being more than an ornament, I think is entirely up to them at this point.
I think so,
And I feel like
'cause
there was more jobs earlier on.
what's our vice president's name? Eyeliner guy?
Oh, I don't know. There was something about a couch.
JD Pants.
That's it. Pants.
JD Pants.
Good luck with everything,
President
Pants.
Pants. I don't know what he does besides go on vacation and say really off the wall things about his marriage.
He really ought to get an endorsement deal for that guy liner because it never smudges.
Do you think it's tattooed
I
on?
would love to know who did it if it is.
Erica Kirk.
Oh
They have matching eyeliner.
my God.
Okay. So they both ran for president in the 1796 election, and Adams beat Jefferson by 3 electoral college votes.
Which at that point is not as narrow of a margin as it feels like. We didn't have as many states.
True. So I'm going to take a moment, and by a moment I probably mean 15, to explain the electoral college and why, in my opinion, it's crap.
Oh, and it's not even just for those folks that don't live under the electoral college system. I've met so many people that don't understand the system that do live under it.
Right. So, okay, remember back when we were talking about Jerry the Mander, and a lot of people were like, I'm making up the rules for this brand new country, and the general population is too dumb. We can't let them have a direct vote.
We don't trust the people at large, and Daddy knows best.
Yeah. But at the same time as that, southern states are like, if the president was chosen by direct popular vote, then states with a lot of eligible, being the key word, voters would have more power than they did. And this was like super awkward because they were like, we built our whole economy on, like enslaved people. So
Right, like we have the highest number of people.
yeah, we have people.
But we don't want to give them like any rights or anything. But we do
Right.
want them to count, but just
But
not,
only,
count.
yeah, they can't vote because only like white dudes can vote anyways. But that's not the problem. So obviously, since they're like, we're not going to treat them as citizens. We're not going to allow them to vote. But when it comes to population and political power, it
They
counts.
should count.
Does this make any sense? No? Of
No.
course not. It's dumb.
It never has.
And that is how we kind of ended up with the 3/5 compromise that we talked about during Jerry the Mander.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, you can't have it both ways. Pick one.
Yeah.
However, that sentiment apparently is only for us poor people, because that combined with the poors don't know how to vote a person that's good for them. The rich should obviously be doing this because we're rich and therefore like we're obviously morally better.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have been blessed by being rich, so clearly we're better and we know what's better.
It's irritating how pervasive the prosperity doctrine really is.
Yeah, it is. So that led to the Electoral College, which is really funny because like, have you ever met a politician? I mean, I don't think I have except for like mayor and governor.
I
But,
was
like-
that irritating kid at state fairs that would ask questions and then try and like gotcha the gubernatorial candidates, and I was 10.
Who are you? But like, have you literally ever met a politician or even heard of one where you were like, this person, this stranger totes has my personal best interest in their heart?
Not once.
Of course not.
No, that's not. And in
Of
the
course
same
not.
vein as like our artists that like the whole, do we separate the art from the artist? Do we separate the person from the policy?
No.
No. But we do also need to remember that humans are the ones running for these
Yeah, because look at Jerry the Mander.
appointments. Yeah, exactly.
Like, generally not too bad. And then
Occasionally horrendous.
he draws this, or he signs off on someone's dumb district drawing, and nobody even realizes he's like a founding father.
Hmm.
Crazy.
But we talk about him all the time without realizing it.
Yeah, without even knowing he's a human, was a human. So right now, the U.S. is composed of 50 states and then like a handful of territories. And I bring this up just to tell you that when it comes to voting in the federal elections, there's like 2 parts to it. First, there's the primaries, which is when like we pretty much have a 2-party system.
Mm-hmm.
So in the primaries, say you've got like 10 people on the Republican side and 10 people on the Democrat side. During the primaries, you, depending on which party you're registered for, or in some states, including New Mexico now.
We just got the ability to vote in primaries as independent voters, which
Yeah.
as an independent, I appreciate.
Yeah. So if you're registered independent, you go in and you say, I would like the Republican ballot or whatever. Territories can do that. However, whoever wins the primary Then they go on, and that's just like the two, well, usually more because of other parties. Let's just say two people left. They don't get to vote on that.
Nope.
And they have to pay taxes.
Yep.
They're getting taxation without representation.
The entire point of the revolution.
So I just thought you should know about that.
Throw some tea in the water for us, guys.
Amen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch Bad Bunny's halftime show again, okay? So, anywho, on Tuesday, September 4th, 1787, we're winding a little bit, at the Constitutional Convention, a committee of 11 was working on resolving some of the issues around creating basically all-around comprehensive governing documents for a brand new country. And really what they knew was they didn't want a king. That was the big point.
Yeah, they started with the broad strokes.
Yeah.
Now you have to build something.
And this is why it's important to know your history. If you ever need to create governing documents for a new entity, even if it's just a business, at least you'll know what doesn't work, right? So they came up with a compromise called the Electoral College. It is not a college. It's not like dorms. You don't get your degree in it. Basically, each state gets a certain number of electoral votes. The number is based on how many members they have in Congress. Bigger states get more. Smaller states get fewer. New Mexico is big in land mass, small in people. So we don't have that many.
So it's based in population size, not land mass size.
Yeah. And that's why some states what's that one they always go to in the beginning? Ohio? Idaho?
Oh, no, Iowa.
Iowa?
Yeah.
Also, the dates are staggered, so they're the first ones. So that state gets a lot of attention. Anyways, that's a whole
They hold a very early primary because they like the attention.
Right?
For many other reasons.
Terrible to me. But whatever. So today, there are a total of 538 electoral votes, and in order to win the presidency, you need 270 or more. So when you vote for president, you're not technically voting directly for the president. You're voting for this group of people who pinky promise that they're going to vote for who you pick.
It's such a hole in the system now because, the basis for making that compromise doesn't exist in the modern world.
So, like in New Mexico, if 51% of the people vote for the Democratic candidate and 49% vote for the Republican candidate, which is very close, then all of our peeps are going to go, theoretically, vote for the Republican candidate. There are some places that split them proportionally to the vote.
Which makes more sense.
It does if we have to have it.
Yeah.
So, okay, think of it like this. Instead of counting every single vote and then declaring who wins, the country is basically like 50 separate contests. And if you win enough states, you're the winner. That's why sometimes before the voting has even closed in Hawaii, a small space with a lot of people, but so small that they don't have that many electoral votes, their votes, it almost seems like they don't matter. They've called the winner long before people have even gotten out of line.
And there's a lot of voter apathy these days, and it's for a variety of reasons, some of which are addressable by individuals. But there's a lot of apathy based on this specific system. Because it's fairly obvious that a single vote is less effective in this system.
And it's why you can win more votes overall and still lose the election, which has happened in the past. The Electoral College is not about the most votes nationally. It's electoral votes. So, I guess you can decide if you think that's some great protection against mob rule, womp womp, or a bizarre, what was this quote? A bizarre 18th century workaround that somehow survived in the age of smartphones.
Thank you.
I'm aware that it would be so much more hackable, but if we could just vote from our phones, everyone would vote.
Other countries handle it just fine.
I'm aware. So, in U.S. history, including when George W. Bush won in the year 2000 and when President Trump won in 2016, they lost the popular vote but won the electoral vote. And people who support the Electoral College, what I found was it seemed like I tried to come up with 3 main points why they would support it, and it was well, it protects the influence of smaller states. I don't know if it does. It prevents a few highly populated areas from dominating the elections, which I will say works currently with the way our system is, works in the favor of Republicans. Higher populated areas tend to vote blue. And then it forces candidates to campaign in different areas of the country, like not just on the East and West Coast and maybe Texas. I don't know.
Mild benefit at best.
Who cares? I don't know. And then critics say that makes some states' votes count more than others, which I have felt that way for a while.
Yeah.
Causes candidates to focus on those swing states,
Mhm.
Iowa, and then can result in the popular vote winner losing.
Which just feels insane. If the actual number of people that wanted you to be president is higher than the number of people that wanted the other guy to be president, you should win.
Right. I don't know. And it's really tricky these days because more and more, nobody wins in a landslide.
No.
It's like middle.
Yeah.
It's wild. So anyways, back to 1796, Adams beats Jefferson by 3 electoral votes, and Jefferson gets to be the VP under Adams as the president. Okay.
Makes sense.
But at least they're friends, right? So, by 1798, many Americans were convinced that France, who helped America get out from out from under the British Empire's thumb, was now the enemy because of a war that I didn't really want to go into. So
the thing is the U.S. has always had kind of, I feel like, touchy feelings about the French. Like, we're occasionally friends, but often highly suspicious.
Well, the French helped us with the Revolutionary War because the enemy of your enemy is my friend, or whatever the saying is.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, that thing. So, in 1798, President Adams passes the Alien and Sedition Acts. It's made up of 4 laws. First is the Naturalization Act, which says that in this country, which at this time is a whopping 22 years old, aka an infant in terms of countries. Okay, and this is a direct quote from the National Archives. It would raise the residency for requirements for citizenship from 5 to 14 years and authorize the president to deport aliens and permit their arrest, imprisonment, and deportation during wartime. This just sounds so familiar. I didn't realize that was happening from the very beginning.
During wartime.
During wartime. When aren't we at war?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second was the Alien Friends Act. The Alien Friends Act said that the president can deport any non-citizen who is considered dangerous to the peace and safety of the USA. Then there's the Alien Enemies Act, okay? And that says the government can arrest and deport male citizens of any foreign nation the U.S. might be at war with.
But just male citizens. Interesting.
Who knows, man?
They count as whole humans. Did you not know?
And then finally, the Sedition Act made it a crime for American citizens to, Fox News, print, utter, or publish any false, scandalous, and malicious writing about the government. So, you had to be in the USA, back to the first one, for more than half the time since it was even created to be considered a citizen.
Wow.
My bro. The USA is a super unique place because most of us have lineage from not here. Most of us are not Native Americans or Indigenous Americans.
Yes, no. The majority of the population is from immigrants.
And one thing that I find very cool about our country is that you can come here from anywhere you want and become an American. As much as I might like eating bread and cheese in France, I can move to France and I can even get French citizenship, but I will never be French, you know?
Yeah.
So I find that cool. So like when I did my DNA test, I found out, as most white Americans with ancestors from the South, that there was zero great-grandma who was, our great-great-grandma who was like a full-blooded Cherokee.
I think every family has that story.
But I also found out that I'm not like basically Scottish. Like so many people will tell you if they care. And I don't feel like people out here care that much. But like,
It's one of the nicer things.
I'm Irish, I'm Italian, and then you do this and you're not at all. I'm 49% English, 33% Scottish, 10% Irish, and then 6.2% Western European, which is like made up of Swiss, German, Austrian, French, and Dutch, plus a whopping 0.9% indigenous American on my dad's side, but the indigenous American includes from Mexico to Canada.
Right.
So I'm
the Americas, which honestly we all are.
Yeah, most of us are, and I like being that way. The only thing that I don't like about my specific heritage is that the fact that I'm 99% European means I have to apply 75 SPF sunscreen a minimum of every 30 minutes when I'm outside without fail.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I will burn and peel. I will never tan. So all of that is to say that making up the rules on who gets to be American is a wild concept.
It's so arbitrary.
Like a bunch of people from other places show up here a few centuries ago and they're like, there's already people here, but I want it.
I'm going to take it, and then I'm going to tell a bunch of other people that also like it that they can't come.
Right. What's that like plant a flag if you're American joke?
Do you have a flag? Thank you, Eddie Izzard, for keeping us so early. No flag, no country. You can't have one, according to the rules I've just made up.
Boom, baby. So back to these besties. The Alien and Sedition Act was basically aimed at the Democratic Republicans Party. That was the party favored by newly minted citizens. Plus, the only journalists who were ever prosecuted under the Sedition Act were editors of Democratic Republican newspapers. So these laws pass, and VP Jefferson is like, oh, heck no. And he busts out his quill, and he starts writing. He writes these things that are eventually called the Kentucky Resolutions. And he does it secretly, though. And he's basically like, all of these laws are super unconstitutional, bunch of crap, and the state should look at them and decide if they think they're constitutional. And if they're not, I don't know if you should even follow it.
Which opens a whole can of worms, sir.
Right. And this whole Kentucky resolutions thing became campaign material for the 1800s presidential election, which was once again Jefferson versus Adams with Aaron Burr thrown in there, but we're not going into that today. That was a fascinating side read. And even George Washington was running around like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's going to cause a disunion of the newly formed US of A.
Because he basically was like, all right, I'll get you guys started, but I am not running this bitch afterward, and then had to watch everybody kind of screw it up for a lot of the time.
So, if it makes anyone feel any better, the country's been like this since the beginning.
Literally,
We're
this is
not
just how we
living in
live.
anything unique, I guess. So during the election, things get hardcore. One side is calling the other side a nasty woman, and the other side is running around pointing at the gas prices saying, I did that. I'm so sorry, I keep getting my timelines confused. That was
really
now.
easy.
Okay, just kidding. So for this time, there's newspaper articles and pamphlets and rumors. And the Federalists are like, the Democratic Republicans are atheists and they want to ruin the country. Apparently that was like terribly insulting. And then even George Washington complains, and this is not a direct quote because it's gross. What I'm about to say is gross, but I changed the wording because I
Don't wish to say that out loud.
I didn't wish to say that out loud, and I really had to look up the word, and then, I don't know, I don't think I'd heard it before. But he said, quote, ish, that as soon as you could scrub a black person white, you could change the principles of a professed Democrat. He will leave nothing unattempted to overturn the government of this country.
Wow.
Why are people super fans of him again?
I mean, I defaulted to super fanning, like, oh, I'll get you there, guys. I mean, because that's the first thing you learn about American history.
I know.
How amazing and completely infallible and godlike the founding fathers were. Again, they are humans.
I think
Varying
it's kind of like
effect.
when Lisa Simpson found out that Jebediah Springfield sucked.
Yes.
And she was like going to go make the whole announcement, and then she was like,
People thrive on the myth, and that is wrong.
Right. Not that the Democratic Republicans were doing much better. They were like, the Federalists hate Republican principles, and they like Britain over France because they secretly love the aristocracy and anti-democratic values, and they probably want a king. Right. Child, it was a lot. So, again, Jefferson wins. Adams didn't get to be the VP. I don't know if he wanted to. I didn't really look too close into it.
I don't know when that rule changed, but I know that it was pretty brief.
Yeah, it was brief.
Yeah.
Instead, Adams was like, watch this. So he appoints this dude named John Marshall, who was a Secretary of State and a hardcore Federalist, as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Randomly, Marshall and Jefferson were second cousins once removed, and during Marshall's 34 years of service, he seemed to take deep pleasure in thwarting every single thing Jefferson tried to do. And within the final hours of his presidency, Adams did some stuff. He appointed William Marbury as Justice of the Peace in D.C., And Jefferson was big mad over that. So then he ordered the Secretary of State, who was James Madison, to withhold final commission, which led to a very famous Supreme Court case called Marbury versus Madison in 1803, which was the first Supreme Court case that invalidated a law passed by Congress.
Thank you. I was like, I have definitely heard that mentioned recently.
Yep.
I wonder why.
And then he also, it was after dark by this time, Adams appoints a group of Federalist judges to a newly created lifetime judgeships. Lifetime
Appointments should not be a thing.
This became known as the midnight judges or the midnight appointments. He also came up with the Judiciary Act of 1801 that reorganized the federal judiciary to create 16 new circuit court judges and reduce the Supreme Court seats from 6 to 5 so that Jefferson couldn't appoint anyone.
So on his way out, he basically stacked the legal judicial deck in order to protect himself from any consequences after the fact.
Pretty
when
much.
he had less power. That's an interesting approach and not one that I'm unfamiliar with.
I've never heard of anyone doing that before in my whole entire life, ever. Not during my lifetime or the last decade. And Jefferson was big mad. In 1802, Congress actually repealed the Act of 1801 by creating the Judiciary Act of 1802, which eliminated all those new judges and moved the Supreme Court back to 6. And then, side note, much like when Trump lost to Biden, Adams couldn't be bothered to go to Jefferson's inauguration.
Yeah.
All of them show up for the inauguration.
Right.
Just show up.
It's being a sport. It's playing ball. You want to play this big
show
game?
Show up and look like a happy, what's a nice word?
A reasonable
stoned,
loser?
Happy guy, like W.
Yes.
Does he not always just look like he's kind of stoned and kind of happy to be there?
His post-nefariousness branding has been on point. He looks like just the most adorable grandpa.
So Jefferson and Adams spent the next 12 years hating each other.
Yeah, sounds like. Oh, you work with your best friend and sometimes it goes pear-shaped.
Right.
Very glad that hasn't.
Their book list couldn't even keep them together. So then in 1809, this guy named Benjamin Rush, who also signed the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, no kidding.
How come I am middle-aged and just finding out these things? I know it's not that I didn't pay attention. It's because you learn about John Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. He was like, guys, I had this crazy dream that Adams and Jefferson renewed their friendship and began exchanging letters again. And okay, exchanging letters is the equivalent of basically nowadays you send your friend TikTok reels all day and occasionally send them texts and voice memos, in case you were wondering. In today's world, it sounds super intimate, but letter writing
less so, yeah.
was a bit less so. It's because they couldn't post on each other's social media back then. And Rush was friends with both of them, so he had a little bit of, I almost said skin in his teeth. Is it stake in the game or skin in the game? Skin in the game. And who knows if he was even fibbing about this dream. Maybe he was like, guys, but he kept at it. And on January 1st, 1812, Adams wrote this short little note to Jefferson, and he's like, hey, bro, Happy New Year. I'm going to send you a homespun gift. The homespun gift turned out to be his kid, John Quincy Adams. Maybe you've heard of him. He wrote a book. And Jefferson writes back real quick, January 21st. He's like, my dude, I'm so happy you wrote me.
Thank you for breaking the ice because I couldn't do it.
I know. He's like, it brings back these really fond memories of when we were both fighting for the same cause, the right to self-govern. Truth be told, I hate politics now. I don't even read the newspaper, just books theories and math and smart people stuff, Can you believe most of us who signed the Declaration are dead? Glad we're in good health. P.S. I got a great-grandchild now. It's the best. And over the next 14 years, they exchanged 158 letters where they did sometimes talk about politics, their vision of where the nation would go, but also history and philosophy and kids and grandkids and families.
I love that so much.
I know. And then on February 4th, 1826, which was the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, they both died. Jefferson died. He was 83. He was in Virginia. It was a combination of chronic ailments. Just remember this. If you're famous and you die, we will know why.
Yep.
If it's severe diarrhea combined with probably kidney failure, kidney infection, and exhaustion, we'll know. He fell into a coma actually on the 3rd and then passed away around 12:50 p.m. on the 4th. And that same day, Adams was 90. He also had like general failing health. He was at his family farm in Massachusetts, and around 6:20 p.m., being unaware that Jefferson had also died, he passed away.
On the same day.
And that's my story of some of the founding fathers and a friendship.
I really appreciate that you're doing more American history recently because it's not something that I know a lot beyond what a public school education gets you.
Samesies.
And there's a lot of really interesting history back there that is wildly relevant every single day.
There really is. And I think like the similarities are really just what's been blowing my mind. I remember during lockdown when they released Hamilton on Disney streaming.
Oh, yes.
And that was the first time I saw it, and I was
I
like,
love that show.
oh, dang, this has been going on since the beginning.
And it also humanizes people so much that have just been presented to us as these myth figures.
And my American history knowledge is also what a public school will get you, minus middle school, because I lived in Hawaii, and all my years of like history class during that time were Hawaiian monarchy. So I learned
much more interesting than
it
Mexico
was
history. I'm sorry, it just is.
I never got New Mexico history because I went to high school and college in Alabama. But, you know, you get to a point in your American history class where you've learned the same thing every single year. Every single year, you kind of get like a founding fathers history, and you might make it up to World War II.
Yep, couple of different battles. If you've got a real firecracker of a teacher, you get to learn about Paul Revere not being the guy.
Yeah.
With the two lamps, and just, you know, it's the same thing over and over again. And I know you necessarily have to broad stroke things in a survey class, but
why does like 1st through 12th grade have to be a survey?
Yeah.
I like my senior year of high school, I don't even think we had U.S. history. I think it was called government and economics, where we specifically learned stuff about that. I don't really remember what we learned. In my defense, it's been a long time. But I did have a good teacher because we like ran full elections. Yeah. We had a week where every day when we came into class, we just screamed over each other because we were like day traders back when you had to trade by shouting over each other. We ran smear campaigns. Like it was a lot. It was fun.
I mean, I think that's always been true. Is if you have a real dedicated teacher, you'll actually probably retain the source material. And shout out to the teachers out there.
Agree.
Like that.
Shout out to Professor Stephen Andrews. He was my college history professor, and I ended up with a lot of history electives because I liked the way he taught.
Actually, you know what? Shout out to Dr. Kelly Myers for the same.
Yeah.
For like instilling even more love of history and stories in me.
Right. And we didn't cover a lot of American history in his classes. I think I took like World War II history, maybe like an overview of world history. I don't remember exactly. But even though at the time, this is an embarrassing admission, our political views were pretty different. If this tells you anything, I was cleaning out the garage for a garage sale, and I found my backpack from maybe my sophomore year of college.
Oh, time capsule.
It had a bottle opener keychain attached to it that said the best party on campus, and the logo's an elephant. Here's the thing.
You get raised with specific ideas, and that is not anything that you're culpable for.
And let me be real. Auburn is still, Alabama is so red and conservative. They did have cute little No Kings protests in Auburn, and I love them for it. There's also one store in Auburn that seems pretty liberal. I bought a t-shirt there that has a picture of the sign in Alabama that says, go to church or the devil will get you. Mm-hmm. And then sarcastically underneath, it's like, the friendly state of Alabama where progress marches forward. And I also got a abolish ICE pin from them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they stay in business, but I love them. They've been around since forever. But I really liked how he taught because he made it incredibly interesting. So just seeing the parallels and how everything's going, know your history.
Please, history responsibly.
Yes.
And have a great week.
And give us a like.